guys? Welcome to Black Scout Survival Late Night Live. And I got some pretty serious news. I want to cover a few stories before we get into that. Did you guys, by chance, watch the GOP debate last night? I didn't. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because Fox News had a Univision anchor open up the debate in Spanish. But anyway, Donald Trump was actually declared the winner of the second Republican debate in a Daily Mail poll, even though he was not there. Yeah. So Donald Trump won again. He won the first one there, and he wasn't even there, And it's funny because even the gruesome Newsom said that. He actually was interviewed after, and he said the same thing, that Donald Trump won the debate. So did you guys hear about the tech CEO here, young lady, found dead, beaten in the head, mysteriously in her luxury apartment in Baltimore? Now, she was a complete woke leftist into ESG and the whole nine. Anyway, the guy on the left here, Jase Billingsley, was arrested and charged for the brutal murder of this tech CEO on Wednesday. She was strangled and beaten with a brick on her apartment building rooftop. Now, some people reported some hat, and they believe she was raped as well. But Billingsley here was sentenced to 30 years for rape in 2015, but only served 9 years due to good behavior in prison. So 30-year sentence, you only do 9. Wow. And then what do? Immediately go out and do the same crime. Police also suspect that he was involved in another incident where he raped a woman, slit her throat, and then lit her on fire, and then lit her boyfriend on fire. So this is the thing, that instance there with the tech CEO, how it happened. He was walking by her apartment, is like code, is has security where you have to put in the code, and he waved to her, and she held the door open for him to come in. So this is the thing with people. A lot of women tend to try to be nice and things like that. Men do sometime, but I notice it more with women. And then Gavin DeBecker in his book Gift of Fear talks about this quite a bit, that women tend to want to be nice and cordial to people. But the thing is, you have to perceive everyone as a threat, guys. It's a war zone out in the streets. There are bad people. I mean, this dude slit somebody's throat, set them on fire, then set the boyfriend on fire. So there's very evil people in this world. You have to understand that. And if you ever watch Lord of Flies, most people are bad. So, anyway, let's get into the serious stuff tonight. Russian Foreign Ministry accuses Western countries of assisting Ukraine in striking military headquarters in Crimea. Now, this is something that happened a few days ago. That's not the breaking news. The breaking news is what they said about it. So anyway, this is a overhead shot here, satellite photo. And top Russian officials says that they're ready for direct conflict with NATO, and says it will come at a much greater cost than humanity than 1945, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So they're talking about deploying nuclear weapons. And they're saying direct conflict with NATO in the U.S. So pretty serious, I mean, for them to make these comments. They've never directly said anything like this. They've kind of hinted at things, but they directly said that they're ready for direct. They are ready. Okay. They're not saying we could. They are ready for direct conflict with NATO and the U.S., and it will come at much greater cost to humanity than 1945. Okay. So Ukrainian Defense Intelligence spokesperson said Russia was using Crimea as a logistics hub. And I'll throw up a map here just so you can kind of see the overlay if you're not familiar with it. But the ultimate goal, of course, is to the deoccupation of Ukrainian Crimea. Last month, Ukrainian special forces carried out a commando raid on the Crimean coast in the seizure earlier this month for oil platforms in the Black Sea by Ukrainian commandos, that basically given them another jumping off point and affected the Russian Black Sea fleet's freedom of navigation. So they've been battling here pretty seriously per the Ukrainian reports, and obviously the attack that Russia has solidified that happened on their logistics hub there. their military headquarters in Crimea. So Russia blamed Ukraine's Western allies. Okay, so they're not saying that it's Ukraine; they're saying it's Western allies for assisting the recent missile strike. I'll throw it back up here again so you can see it there. I got some video footage I'll play too. So assisting in the recent missile strike on its Black Sea Fleet headquarters in Crimea. Maria Zakharova, which I'm going to show something that she says later, and you're going to kind of be blown away. But Moscow's foreign ministry, she's Moscow's foreign ministry spokeswoman, asserted that Western intelligence, including NATO satellite assets and reconnaissance planes, played a role in Ukraine's assault. She stated there is no doubt that the attack had been planned in advance using Western intelligence means and was implemented upon advice of the United States in close coordination with them. So pretty much she's saying, and Russia is saying, that America is what caused this attack here, that Ukraine, there's no possible way, basically saying that U.S. is involved in this attack right here, that it was just not Ukraine alone, right? So this attack in Sevastopol is the latest disputed Crimean Peninsula annex from Russia in 2014, allegedly resulted in significant casualties, including the rumored death of the fleet commander, Admiral, and I showed that the video has the photo of him at the very end. However, recent footage shows that the commander is actively participating in meetings and events. And I'm gonna actually post something up about that in a second. That guy right there. So they're saying Ukrainian commandos said that they killed this guy, but Russia had him participating in like a Zoom meeting today. So the Washington-based Institute for Study of War commented on the ambiguous reports of the commander's status, stating it would reserve judgment until more is known. And again, Ukrainian Special Operations Forces are investigating it, but they believe that they killed him. And this all comes as Russia continues to accuse the U.S. and NATO allies for fueling the conflict. And it's not even accusing. We are fueling the conflict. We're spending freaking $223 million a day on this thing. We've got troops there. We've got CIA. We got special operations personnel there. I know people have been there. We have mercenaries there, like private military contractors that are there, paid for by the U.S. government. They're there. They've done operations for them. Nordstrom pipeline. Yeah. So, of course. Then Russia, obviously, like I said, shows the commander in the meeting right here. And so America's trying to say that this is old footage and that he's not really alive and that they're playing some kind of psyop. Whether they are or not, who knows? But I don't necessarily believe it. I mean, they're all sitting in the same exact chairs with the same exact background. It'd be hard to film something knowing that you needed it later. You know what I mean? That just doesn't make sense to me. So I think it is that he's not dead. So apparently, they're showing him there in the Black Sea Fleet commander in the conference. But again, Ukraine Special Forces said he's dead. So the biggest thing is going back to the threats. The threats are that the deputy head of Russia's Security Council warned of potential direct conflict between NATO and Russia due to increased Western military aid in Ukraine. In a statement, he said the delivery of the Abrams tanks and promises to supply long-range missiles to Ukraine will leave Russia with less and less choices other than direct conflict with NATO on the ground. We are ready, although the result will be achieved at a much greater cost to humanity than 1945. A lot of people will say, oh, this is clickbait. The man, Russia, is saying they're ready for direct conflict. What does that mean? What's that mean? They're saying it's going to be much greater cost than 1945. That means nuclear weapons will be used. Personally, I do think, Russia is getting pushed into a corner, and you keep pushing them. Yeah, it's going to end that way. I do believe it. if they start losing, I said the other day, they had the easy button. They could just hit it. They have the easy button. So if they do have any perception of losing anything, all they got to resort to is the easy button. End it. You know, there's Zelensky's always trying to say that Russia's going to attack Poland. I don't believe that. I don't believe that Russia wants worldwide domination. I mean, why would you waste your time in Ukraine if that's your goal? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. But that's the narrative they're going to push. Now, I want to just say America's infamous for false flag events. They are. You can say a conspiracy theory you want. Go look through the internet. Most all these conflicts that we've ever been involved in, we did some sort of false flag, right? Some people say even current events 20 years ago was false flag. You know, there's always the where there's smoke, there's fire. But we have a long-standing history of doing these false flag operations. We have a October 4th messaging coming up. I talked about it a few weeks ago, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, that there's been talk of a false flag EMP, a controlled EMP, shut down America. That way they can use that as an excuse to go to war. We have upcoming election. And this is just me spitballing. Okay, this is just me spitballing here. We have upcoming elections. Democrats are losing. They can't lose. Joe Biden is being investigated tremendously. All kinds of evidence of his corruption. Americans don't trust it. Don't trust the Bidens. They're not voting for Democrat, and they would do anything to win at all costs. You know, obviously we have theories. I mean, Gavin Newsom went to the GOP debate. Why? We have lots of theories on these things. So could the October 4th, hey, we need to test this thing before we pop out, hey, man, EMP strike. Oh, we got direct conflict with Russia now. We're going to have to suspend elections because we're at war. Because Zelensky's suspending elections. I've talked about that. I've showed where he's made those statements. So all these things are a possibility, and I put nothing past them. It's funny that, a lot of people will say these conspiracy theory. They'll say you're a conspiracy theorist or you're a clickbaiter, these sort of things, but you always have evidence of it. And conspiracy theories always come true. Every single one of them that I've ever said has came true. It's came to fruition. Even the thing is that, whenever they were downing Trump, they were downing Joe Rogan for taking this particular medication. Now the CDC says it's an effective treatment. So the thing is that every time you turn around, these things come true. So you can be a naysayer all you want, but it's just you putting your head in the sand and pretending like nothing's happening. I really believe nothing anymore from mainstream media, especially when they try to disprove it. Anytime they try to disprove it and they fight heavily, I mean, CNN tried to make Joe Rogan like he was green. Anytime they do these type of tactics, it's all a lie. Even today, I looked up this morning at breakfast. Me and my wife were talking about this, but she brought up Alex Jones about the frogs, drinking the water, and she was saying that telling one of her friends that's not a conspiracy theory, and they're like, no, that's a conspiracy theory. And if you look it up, no, it's true. We've talked about it. I've showed evidence of it. That's why the endocrine systems of a lot of young men and women are messed up from years of drinking the water. That's why I say don't drink tap water, don't drink out of plastic water bottles. But the fact of the matter is that scientists have proven it's actually true, but you'll still have websites. CNN is one of them that says that's a conspiracy theory when you have scientific data showing that's true. So again, get what I'm trying to wrap up in all this is that you can try to pretend these things aren't happening. These things are happening. And when you have the head of Russia's Security Council saying direct conflict with the United States and NATO, and it's going to be like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I would take those words very seriously. I know they've said a lot of things before and they beat their chest a lot, but they've never said anything this direct. I mean, this is a direct threat, almost enough to even go on offensive, in my opinion. If someone that was credible said, hey, dude, I'm going to come over there and beat you up, I'd go ahead and go on the offense. You know what I mean? If it's a credible, they have the time and opportunity and ability to do it, then I'd go ahead and handle it. So again, you can pretend it's not happened, but whatever. Let's get to how they view us, though. Okay, so the same lady, Maria Zakharova, she's the Moscow's foreign ministry spokeswoman, talked about the dominance of the United States, or their perceived dominance of the United States. It's interesting to hear this side of the story, because we are brainwashed and indoctrinated here. A lot of you probably say these same things, but maybe in a different way. But I want you to hear her talk about it. Okay, she's talking in like some type of a Zoom meeting, and pretty interesting. Now you have to read the subtitles, obviously, but because she's speaking Russian. But I want you to listen.
Как зло современного мира.
I'm actually going to cut the audio because it has music on it. The concept is named differently. Russia's foreign ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova shared on U.S. military dominance. She said that, following question about her comment on a recent report released by the Tsinghua Institute, I guess I'm not Chinese, so if you guys can see this, but she's basically saying that America tries to dominate the rest of the world, basically saying that what we're saying that Russia's doing is that we're actually doing it. We're the ones that's trying to essentially take over the entire world and force world domination, and trying to force everyone to live under our ideology. And it's true. Think about even the things in the woke culture that we've had lately, and how we try to force that on other countries, whether it be sporting events and you name it. How we aggressively work against the collective, right? Endlessly sows destabilization. Crisis that it created. The crises that we created. Who does that sound like? So yeah, I think, the perception that we have as who we are, we're looked at as the enemy to a lot of people because we try to dominate the world. We try to be the world police. Think about it, and think about the crisis that we have created, and then we go try to fix. Oh, let's go over here and teach these people and make them a democracy. That's not thousands of years they haven't lived that way, but let's go ahead and make them into a Western country. Let people, people have different cultures around the world. Why are we trying to dominate and trying to force people to live under our culture? And then we turn it to the woke culture. Yeah. So very interesting. I just want to show that because that's the same lady that made the comments about the Crimea attack. And again, Russia's very serious about this. I mean, they're not playing. And America could use it to launch a false flag. It's possible. That way we could get in direct engagement, make an excuse, a reason, create a crisis. Hillary Clinton says never let a good crisis go to waste. And especially by them making them comments, that'd be a perfect time to launch a false flag operation. And the thing is, we have the Biden crime family. They're getting exposed. I mean, these people, this is the most dirty president we've had in U.S. history. They're trying to make Trump out to be this way, but Biden is really it. House Republicans announced that they've discovered bank wires from China addressed to President Joe Biden's Delaware address on behalf of his son, Hunter. James Comey, the Oversight Committee, said that the bank wires amounted over $250,000 from 3 individuals in the summer of 2019. So obviously it brings forth concerns about Biden's possible awareness of his son's foreign business interactions. Because let me explain to you that Hunter was not living at this address. He was living in California at the time, right? Also, that there's prior financial involvement of Biden in China that intensified during national security issues. What did Biden do with money from Beijing? Right? So this is the most corrupt family in history. Now, what did the White House say about it? What did Karine Jean-Pierre say? She said that it's a conspiracy theory. There's no evidence. They literally have all this evidence. They have bank wires. They have emails. They have Joe Biden with 2 fake emails with aliases that are talking about these financial and ongoings with his son. So they said they're half-baked innuendos and conspiracy theories. There's no evidence of wrongdoing by President Biden, just more discredited personal attacks of him and his family. They literally have the proof. And they love to say that it's a conspiracy theory because they try to discredit people when you say the truth. I mean, every time I hear conspiracy theory, I just want to slap the taste out of somebody's mouth. I really do. Like I feel like when people say that, you're the most ignorant individual on the planet. You're a moron because you have no logical reasoning. You watch CNN and just believe everything they say. You believe everything the White House spokesperson says on constantly evading questions, lying, completely trying to cover up criminal activities. These guys have 20 some odd shell companies, right? Fake companies. They offer nothing. The Bidens offer nothing. Why are you getting millions of dollars? Hunter Biden selling art for $500,000 a piece, and they're trying to say that Trump lied about how much his properties are worth. You see the hypocrisy here? I did want to touch on one last thing I thought was interesting. I don't know if you guys are Costco members, but Costco is selling gold bars and they're selling out within a few hours. This actually just came out yesterday. They're selling 1 ounce gold. And, obviously because gold has risen 15% over the past year and 55% in the past 5 years. Costco has a lot of, I guess, bulk items. They're kind of like Sam's Club, Costco, whatever you have in your area, but it's like bulk items you get. And the funny thing I saw within this article, though, is that they tried to make it seem like this was appealing to right-wing extremists. Oh, the Costco's appealing to right-wing extremists. They're selling gold bars and they're selling survival foods and water filters, because right-wing extremists. They literally try to make it seem like being prepared makes you a right-wing extremist and investing in gold. Why do you think that is? Because they don't want people to prepare. People, they're going to say, oh man, I don't want to be a right-wing. I won't prepare. I won't prepare. So when nuclear war hits, EMP, foreign troops on the ground, they're already here. I see them coming through on video every day through the southern border. Hundreds of thousands of them. But they don't want people to prepare. Why else would you label it that way? That was the biggest thing about the article. I was in disbelief you would frame this article that way. Oh, Costco selling gold. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Let me read it. Yeah, they're catering to right-wing extremists, but selling survival foods and water filters and other survival supplies. Why would that be bad? Because first off, right-wing extremist is a negative connotation. It has a negative connotation, right? But why would it be bad to be prepared? Oh, putting on your seatbelts bad. Keeping your fire extinguisher in the house is bad. Having car insurance must be bad too. Anything to prepare. But they don't want you to prepare for something bad to happen. It's odd, is it not? They don't want you, and I've been saying this for a very long time, they don't want you to be independent. They want you to have to fall back on the system. Especially when we have these things going around the globe right now. I mean, things are hot. This is the hottest it's been in a long time. And like Teddy here, U.S. will be invaded by China and Russia simultaneously. I mean, obviously, when you open the door for Russia, you got North Korea, you got China. And hey, did you guys hear about North Korea? They let Private King go. They said, we don't want this guy. He's too much he was too much of a problem for the U.S. Army. We don't want him in North Korea either. I thought that was pretty funny. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, Mike Hugh. Indio, Mike Hugh. Teddy, thanks, guys. So yeah, again, things are so hot right now, and it's just odd that our government or the news media would make it seem like being prepared. That means prepare. That's what that means. Get prepared. because they don't want you to be prepared when it hits the fan. Anyhow, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Let me know your thoughts about all this, and if you've heard any more in regards to Russia and the impending apocalypse, just let me know. Are you preparing? Are you going through the possible scenarios? Obviously, if you're not part of our tribe, I would definitely join that tribe. And a lot of people wonder, like, if EMP hits and stuff like that. I plan to do a video about the networking using the tribe and how the best way to plan around an event like this, because comms can go down, right? It doesn't matter if you're a ham radio operator, if the EMP gets, pops off. So I'm going to tell you my strategy on how to circumvent all that and still have a plan in place with people. The thing is that having a group, being part of a network, is stronger than anything else. Okay. And I'm going to talk about that, building a group, building a network, and how best to prepare for the absolute worst. And I mean like Walking Dead worse. I mean, minus the zombies. Anyhow, guys, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to stay frosty, stay strapped, stay dangerous. Go join the tribe at the link in the description. Take care.